Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Barakat. I don't think I've ever said my name. Child, God. Today's video I'll be showing you the process of how to achieve this soft glam look on a dark skin model. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Bye guys, let's get into this. So first thing before I start applying makeup is to cleanse the face. I use a wet wipe, normal baby wipes, to just clean the face. Next step is to moisturize. Guys, never skip hydration no matter what you're doing. If you're wearing makeup or if you're just hanging around in your house, do not skip hydrating your face, because when you cleanse your face, it's going to be stripped of oils. You want to replenish these oils by moisturizing your skin. If not, your makeup is going to be blotchy. It's going to not give you all you want. Next, I'm just putting this spray to lock in the hydration before I go into my primer. This is the mattifying primer, so I'm just going to apply this in the parts of her face, the middle parts of her face. That's her nose, her cheeks, her forehead, her eyebrows. So when I place any products on it, it won't move. I'm not really applying it to the outer parts of her face, just the inner parts of her face, places I want to have that matte look. I'm using the Dermablend cover cream to spot correct. I'm applying this with a foundation brush to all her spots, discolorations. The whole essence of this is just to reduce products and reduce the stress of using so much foundation to cover the spots. It's not really a necessary step, but I just prefer this if you do want to use like minimal foundation and you don't want it to look too caked up. So you just first go into cover any spots you have, and this just helps a lot, guys. It helps you use minimal foundation and it helps you not have that whole cakey effect on your face. When I'm applying the cream, I buff it out. I'm not just leaving a layer of cream on her face, of concealer on her face. I'm making sure I'm buffing it out, so when I apply foundation, to make all this easy, I'm just putting it on the sides of the mouth to brighten that area a little bit, because it's a little dark around the sides of her mouth. I'm about to mix a couple foundations together. Honestly, I don't know, but I'm obsessed with mixing foundations. Some foundations I like the consistency, some foundations I like the color, some foundations I like the finish. So I just mix it all together until I get the desired consistency and color I want. And when I'm shade matching, I always use the neck and chest, or neck or chest, as my guide to matching the face to the body, because that's the most exposed area. Another tip for shade matching is to study the person's undertones. My model Lulu has yellow undertones for her highlights and she has red undertones for her shadows on her body. So I'm going to match and follow this. I'm going to use a concealer that has red undertones to contour her face so that it will stay in the same lane, the same color frame as her natural contour and highlights. Then I'll use a concealer with yellow undertones to highlight her face. I hope you understand this part. When I'm blending the concealer that I've put to contour her face, I'm blending upwards or buffing on the area that I've put here. I'm not dragging it downwards. And for extra precision, I'm going to go in with a smaller brush to blend the nose contour. And then you can see I'm just buffing the areas that I've put it on. I'm just going to repeat the same process on the other side of the nose, just buffing the edges and the area that I've put the concealer on. Sometimes I go in with a bigger brush to just blend it some more and diffuse the edges a little bit more. Same way we picked the concealer that we used to contour is the same way we are going to pick the concealer we're going to use to highlight. and that is by matching undertones. You have to study the undertone of whoever you're doing makeup on, or you have to study your own undertones. Undertone is the color from underneath the surface of the skin, is what is peeping through. My model Lulu has yellow undertones for her highlights, and she also has red undertones for her contour, her shadows on her face. What I'm doing now is I'm mixing the concealer with the foundation that is left on the palette, and I'm using this to snatch under her cheekbones. I don't want too much color on it. I want the color to be muted down, so I'm just applying this first, and I'm also blending it. Immediately apply it. I don't want too much color there, just to sharpen it. I give it a little bit of definition, not too much. My tip for blending in general is to start with the edges first. I always start with the edges before I go into the place that has more products, that is more concentrated with products. So now I'm just starting with the edges. I buff the edges first before I go into the place with plenty products. Then I just tap lightly. So I'm diffusing the edges. That's my blending technique, guys. When I'm blending under the eyes, I always tell my clients to look up, and I always tap lightly. I don't want to move the products around. I just want to blend out the products that I've put under the eyes. So I just tap lightly, and sometimes I go in with a smaller brush to just get under the eyes properly without irritating the eye. For nose contour, I always go in with a smaller brush. Helps me keep my precision. It's just easier for me. So now I'm just going to set everywhere with powder, the concealer, the foundation, everywhere. I'm going to set it with powder. This step changed my makeup game for good, guys. Before, I just used to go in with the baking powder straight after concealing, and sometimes the makeup will still be blotchy, it will have some, but when you powder your whole face first before you now go into bake later, it's just going to give you one soft delicious, sexy finish, guys. Guys, this finish, this tip, just take it. And guys, don't forget, you still have to match your powder to the areas you're applying it on. For the highlights, I used a powder that had yellow undertones, and for the contour, I'm using a powder with red undertones. Staying true to the shades. I didn't show the process for the brows. I have a video for that, so please go and watch it. Please watch it. It's very detailed. The whole process of the brows, everything I do. Right now, I'm just using this small concealer brush to blend out under her eyes any crease that is there before I go in to bake. I'm going to be using a baking powder and a beauty blender to bake. For smile lines, I use what's left on the beauty blender to set it, and I tell my models to stretch their skin, stretch that area so that I can apply it properly, and this will just help decreasing and all of that. Time for the eyes. Before I go in with the shadow, I'm going to use a concealer brush to just blend out any crease. Then I'll go in with my eyeshadow primer to set my base for my shadows. I'm using an orange shade for my transition color. I'm just buffing this in with a very fluffy brush. I'm laying this out as my guide and the shape that I want to go with. So I'm just blending this before I go in with a dark brown eyeshadow shade, and that's going to be the main crease color. And I'm just going to buff this into the eyes. Just blend it out, guys. Eyeshadow is not so stressful. Just make sure you blend it properly, and that's it, guys. My tip for eyeshadow is to not pack so much products on the eyes. Just build up your eyeshadow. Take small taps on your eyeshadow pan and build it up on your lids. I'm going to go in with a smaller brush to define the crease a little bit more, and I'm bringing this closer to the crease. I'm using this foundation to define her eyelid. I don't really want a cut crease, I just want the lights on her eyelid. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this like the shape of a cut crease, but I'm going to go in with a brush to blend out the edges and just make it look defined ish. I don't know if you understand what I'm going for, but I don't really want the whole cut crease line, just defined. And after that, I'm going to go in with this, is it beige? I don't even know what color to call this, eyeshadow to set that foundation that I put on her eyes. So I'm just going to set with this eyeshadow. And I'm still going to buff the edges, guys. Always buff your edges. We don't want harsh lines. Then now I'm going to use this eyeliner from Bhcosmetics to line her eyes. I don't really want a wing, just to line her eyes. That's it. And I really like this liner because it's not black. It gives it like a pop of color. It has this dark, I think dark purple. That's what you call it. So I just fixed the lashes on, and now I'm going to press all that setting powder into her skin. This is going to make sure your makeup stays all day, guys. It's going to give you that sweet matte look you're looking for. And if you're not a fan of the powdery look, powdery matte look, I'm going to still use setting spray, and it's going to calm everything down. It's not going to look as harsh as it's looking now, but isn't it sweet, guys? Now I'm applying blush to the cheeks, bringing back color to the face. Sometimes powder just makes your face look flat, so blush gives it like a dimension. And I'm applying it to the nose. Now I'm going to use this shade to contour her nose. What I do, my new style for nose contour is to just contour the bridge of the nose, the bridge that connects to the eyebrows, and that just makes you look snatched. It gives you that baby doll effect. Now I'm contouring around her face. Then highlight, guys. You know the drill about highlights. Also, the same tip with eyeshadow. Apply small layers. Don't go overboard, or else you just be looking like one lamp on the streets. Yeah. So for lips, I'm going to use this brown lip pencil to line the lips before I go in with this cream lip gloss, and I'm going to apply it to the middle of the lips before I go in with this delicious clear gloss to top everything up. And that's the finished look, guys. Thank you so much for watching till this part. Please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share this video. I hope this video was educative. I hope you got some tips. Bye, guys.